Come live and work in Natchitoches.
Hey, come on, live and work in Natchitoches.
Come on and live and work in Natchitoches.
We just welcome everybody who is willing to work with the children in a positive way. So we're looking for people who want to be a part of a winning team. We're looking for those people who are motivated to do what's right and what's best for children. We want to run ahead of the pack. We don't want to do the mediocre thing. So we're working hard to get those people.
The most vital resource that we have is our young people. That's our students, and their education is what's going to take them forward in life. And we just feel it a calling on our lives to be a part of that in the most positive way that we can.
Our students need us. They need that support. We want teachers who are here, who are dedicated to our students, and we know that they deserve that. And so here at our school, we want the best of the best, and they deserve the best of the best.
Here in Natchitoches Parish, we're focusing on our #1 priority this year is student learning. And so we are working with our teachers and all of our students. We're working on goal setting. We are having them focus on setting their own goals for personal growth, both teachers and students. Hopefully is going to lead to student growth for all of our students.
But the other thing is we have beautiful Cane River Lake, we have Front Street, we have the Christmas Festival, we have meat pies, we have so much going on that's positive, and we're here to do the right thing because we truly believe that children come first.
It is important to have a facility that you're proud of. Not only to have a classroom to learn in, but a facility that you can say, I'm happy to be there. Every one of our schools is under construction of some form. I love this community, and I think this is a great place to grow up and live and work.
I'm a product of the Natchitoches Parish school system, so I think the teachers and principals who I learned from did a great job. I really applaud what teachers are doing to make sure our students are reaching those targets that I know have been set for them.
Regardless of where they start, we're going to grow them and improve them in their skills so that when they leave us, they're prepared for a fulfilling life. And whatever role they choose, we're going to prepare them to be able to compete and go after all of the goals they've set forth in their life.
The school district having formed partnerships with the education department, I know that those teachers strive. They find a way to help ensure that those individuals are able to learn.
Come on and live and work in Natchitoches.
Come on and live and work in Natchitoches.
Come live, work, and grow here in Natchitoches Parish School Board.
Come on, live and work in Natchitoches.
I commute about 30 minutes every day because I believe in the mission of Natchitoches Parish. I believe that we are always pushing forward, that we always have a purpose, that we are always in a growth mindset of transitioning forward. If you're the person who wants to be a part of something fabulous, you want to be on the ground floor, you want to make an impact in education, you are the person that needs to be in Natchitoches Parish. Live, work, and teach in Natchitoches.
Lives are waiting to be transformed. The only thing missing is you. We're looking for motivated teachers who are ready to be a positive force in their students' lives. You'll teach in our newly renovated schools that you'll be proud to be a part of. Ready to make your new home along the beautiful Cane River? Ask us about our relocation stipend. Our students deserve the best teachers. They deserve you. Live, work, grow in Natchitoches.
We're going to start with a roll call, and then we'll move into the program.
We didn't test mine, but I guess it's working. Mr. Danzy? Here. Mr. Matoire?
Here.
Mr. Benefiel?
Here.
Mr. Garner?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mrs. Jrotc? Here. Mrs. Broadway?
Here.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Present.
Ms. Palmer?
Here.
Ms. Phelps?
Here.
And Ms. Harvey?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. As you can tell, we're not used to technology. We have to play with it for a little while. But the first thing on our agenda tonight is part of our school highlight program. And tonight we have Mr. William Himes from Lakeview High School, who will be visiting with us and showcasing his school. And I see that he's brought some people with him. If you want to make your way down.
Yay. That's right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are Lakeview Junior Senior High School. We are currently a B high school, and we are working very, very hard to become an A high school. We currently did our third QRD, and which showed a bump at ACT, and Mrs. Franks will touch on that a little bit later. And also our STAR data. We think we found the key, sadly, at the end of the year to motivating our students towards STAR. It looked like our teachers were highly motivated to increase in STAR, but our students just kind of said, when it's summer. And so what we did is created what's called a STAR challenge system, to where we challenged all 7th and 8th graders to raise their hand if they could score a mastery or advance on STAR. And we had about 65% of those students do that. And so it worked so well, we went to ACT, and we had an ACT challenge, and we were just blown away with how many students were interested in raising ACT scores. I think we had 5 students last week come to our counselor, which were 10th graders, and ask, "Oh, what is my ACT score? What is my ACT score?" And we've never had that before. So how do you motivate students toward ACT when there's no accountability at the state level for ACT? Well, the challenge system is how we found to do it. And basically, the challenge system for STAR, work keys, and ACT is something that the superintendent gave us permission to do, and I didn't believe him when he said it, but he said it, so I took him up on it, was to offer free dress down for a month. And you would be surprised how many students went after that free dress down. So also part of the STAR system was any senior who scored a 20 or above on the real ACT test that we took get to decorate their graduation hat. That's out of my boat. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's out of my boat. And but you know, we made that promise to those seniors, and they went after it. So just finding ways to challenge those students, finding something that they want, and those students will perform. So that's what we'll be doing for this first, for the fourth QDR, is challenging our system toward performance. Without further ado, we're here to talk about some of the highlights of our school, some of the things we've accomplished, and we also brought a few people along once they heard about it, especially Sherry Helms. She said she had to be here, and so they're going to pop up, and I told them, we don't have a lot of time, the school board is busy, so we're going to do rapid fire. What is rapid fire? They're like, share everything from the whole year. No, that's not rapid fire. So anyway, we're going to do rapid fire today, and we're going to cover some things at Lakeview. Okay, I'm the technology guy here. to go to, oops. Okay. All right. These are Lakeview improvements. I must say that our school board members were very instrumental in making this happen. Of course, Mr. Gorn and Mr. Harris were boots on the ground, but we did need support from everybody else who's around this horseshoe, and you gave it. And this is the results. Lakeview improvements. Whoops. Lakeview improvements. Okay, there we go. We have new energy efficient lighting which comes on and goes off as persons enter and exit the room. And of course, this has translated into an energy savings for the district. Our bathrooms at Lakeview are remodeled. The urinals and the plumbing is also updated, correcting costly water leaks and restroom drainage issues that we were having. So those are corrected. Our gymnasium floors are resurfaced and refinished. The high school and the junior high gymnasiums, and the high school has had a little bit more wear and tear this year since we kind of went for the goal than the junior high, but nonetheless, those gymnasiums are up to par. And our culinary kitchen is something that we are extremely proud of. It's had more than a workout. Ms. Helms has been extremely busy making sure that she gives the opportunities that that kitchen can provide. And it allows students to receive Safe Serve certification and graduate with a certification which allows them to enter the food service industry at a management level. Yeah. Our cameras are updated, and it has increased the security on campus. And we do have a school marquee now, and that school marquee has been added to our campus. My mom used to tell me, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. And so we now have a sign which says that we are open for business at Lakeview. Our HVAC system has been updated. Our HVAC system has been upgraded to stabilize the classroom temperature throughout the building in the summer. And the winter months, we had a big problem with certain areas of the building being cool, certain areas of the building being warm, parents complaining. But now we don't get those complaints anymore. And we do know that the building is energy efficient and is providing that energy efficiency throughout the year. We have a girls' softball complex, which is state-of-the-art, and our girls now can not worry about Title IX at all because that softball facility has a state-of-the-art field, and it also has a state-of-the-art clubhouse with a coach's office, showers, and everything up to speed. And we also have a new boys baseball facility and a clubhouse. And our boys are doing well in baseball this year. They've just started, and we are proud of them as well. They've also completed a new rubber running track at Lakeview. And this track serves our track team, which football players go from football to track, from basketball to track, from all sports feed into this track system. And I think we may get a chance to hear of some of our students who has gone on to college and who is now breaking national records from having an opportunity to participate in the track at Lakeview. Oh yeah, and also our community is welcome to walk on this track, and you can come out at any time and find them walking on it. They're keeping it up, they're not trashing it, they're taking care of it, and we're making sure that they do that. It's a partnership between us and the community. Yes. Also, our football field has been regraded, and it's soon to be turfed. And so we want to thank you guys very much for that. I think I saw Coach Helms do 2 backflips back there. So. Mr. Watson, did you want to touch on an update on the football field real quick?
Started here any day. They should be starting any day. They have to turn off the sprinkler system, so the construction begins any moment.
Okay, cool. Thank you, sir. And last but not least, we do have 64 cameras on campus, and those 64 cameras allow us to keep an eye on what's happening throughout the day, to run back anything which has happened when we are away from campus. We can run that back, and we can also provide video for any incidents which happen to the superintendent and any pertinent person who needs to see that video. Okay, here's my code word, rapid fire. This is powerlifting, Mr. Taberley and Ms. Norman.
Good evening, or good afternoon. Good evening. I'm John Taberley. I came here 4 years ago. I have a PhD. I've coached on the USA World Team 6 times to the World Championships, and I have 11 of these from National Collegiate Powerlifting. So why am I at Lakeview? I'm at Lakeview because I had mutual friends with Coach Helms and was at a place in my career where I wanted to get back to the country, as they say. I just want you to know what we're doing over there. We've qualified kids every year since I've been here to the state meet. People will say to me that from the national powerlifting community, they'll say to me, how do you get kids to qualify when there are so few kids in the school? I don't need 1,200 kids in my school. I just need about 5 really good ones. And I'm going to tell you what, there are good kids walking to high school at Lakeview, and if you want to see them, come to a powerlifting practice. One other thing I wanted to mention is what I'm trying to do with these kids is I'm trying to take them national, I'm trying to take them international. I know virtually everybody in the powerlifting world, and I am glad to say that we have a young lifter over there right now. I'm not going to mention him by name. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But Ashton Rushka, who I coached in Hungary a couple of years ago, is about to become the world's strongest man. He has a meet in 3 weeks where he's going to squat 970, all right? And I coached him at the Worlds, and he has agreed to sport some Lakeview gear on the international platform and to make personal phone calls and FaceTime calls with this lifter that I am talking about who is a junior at Lakeview High School. Okay, I told the young man that the other day, and his jaw just dropped. And this man is going to commit his time to helping me build these kids. We're not trying to win meets. We're trying to win hearts and minds, and we're trying to give these kids something they can be proud of. All right.
Thank you.
Ms. Ashley Norman is going to cocktail with Work Keys. She's our Work Keys coordinator.
Hey, he mentioned it earlier. I wanted to speak on Work Keys a little bit. We are up to over a 70% passage rate right now. We expect to increase to about a 98% by the time the April 29th deadline gets here. We have also qualified at the state level for the first time ever, I believe you told me, 3 CLEP cohorts. Just 3 for right now. 3 CLEP cohorts for the 2024 school year. And we look to, on the week of April 25th, to qualify about 9 more. CLEP is a college-based exam where you could take an exam, say, for English 1010 or English 2020. Now this applies for NSU. And they can go take their curricular composition exam, and if they make a score of a 50 or higher, they get the credit for those courses, and they do not have to pay for them. So it advances them in their career in college, gives them a leg up, so to speak. So we're pushing for it a lot, and the kids are actually very into it. I have them contacting me daily, wanting to know when we can do it. And Ms. Pigney, thank you. I got the dates, and I'll be getting with you on who to register and the times. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello to all. I'm Sherry Helms, and I teach culinary arts at Lakeview Junior Senior High School. And what a whirlwind. It's just, we're busy all the time. Kids are practicing, learning, having a good time, but most of all, they're learning. And they're learning safety, they're learning terminology, they're learning things that are real life situations and that can help them. If they don't decide they want to go to college, they still can go to culinary school and work in the culinary industry. And we do, like Mr. Himes said, we do certify them from ServSafe. Every kid that comes through our culinary program is ServSafe Food Handler certified. And we also have advanced levels that are working as we speak on Save Manager. So that's the big one. You know, they can go in with a higher pay raise and can come up with jobs before any normal Joe on the street would come in. They would get the leg up on them. I want to introduce right here, this is Wallsworth. She's a sophomore at Lakeview, and she's in our culinary department. And I just want her to say a few words about our department. And if you can notice, we have stuff missing everywhere. It's because we wash them every day in bleach, and they're falling apart. So we're going to get them engraved. So sorry for this, but come again, and it'll be a lot better. Oh, yes. You also have a brochure here that I made up kind of about our culinary department. We are the recipients of one of 27 of the nation of the Rachel Way Foundation grant, and we got that. And we also have awesome sponsors and supporters. Two of our big supporters that have really helped outfit us and fund us is Alliance and Warehouser, that's local. And without businesses investing into our community and into these kids' future, I don't know where we would be, and we just want to say we appreciate them.
Thank you. So I'm Caitlin, and a little bit of backstory. Okay, I'm short. So a little bit of backstory on me. I was homeschooled until 8th grade. 8th grade was my first year in public school. And I tried it out, and I wasn't really sure if that's what I wanted or if I wanted to go back to homeschool, and so I was planning on going back. But then when I found out that Lakeview had a culinary program, a new culinary program, I decided that I had to be in it. So I stuck with it, and I went to Lakeview my freshman year. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I got in the culinary program, and I got ServSafe certified that year. And basically, found a lot of other opportunities, throughout the year that I liked. That I wouldn't have gotten if it hadn't been for the culinary program. And another opportunity we've gotten since then is the coffee shop that we've opened up. And I get to be manager of the coffee shop, and I'm currently working towards my ServSafe manager certification. So.
Hey, Caitlin, I have an important question. Did you bring samples? Did you bring food?
Not this time.
Okay, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
And I didn't say something about the Gator Grounds. It's on the brochure. That's a student-ran coffee shop. So the kids and faculty members are able to come in on certain mornings and get a frappuccino or a pastry, a beignet, meat pies, lots of things. So it's an opportunity for them to come in and get something different that they don't get in a normal setting. Thank you.
I've given them a minute and 10, but we'll see if that happens. Coach for the girls track and basketball.
How y'all doing? First of all, I'll talk about girls basketball. You know, this is my 3rd year with the program. Yeah. When I came in, the team had, I took the team over. They was 1-21 the year before. Since then, we have been to the quarterfinals the last 2 years. We have had opportunities for our girls to go to the next level, and we have also had numerous of individual awards. Like this year, our 2 top freshmen just got voted for the LHSA 2A All-State team. So we are going in the right direction. You know, it's a good thing when your best 2 players are only freshmen. Yeah. So, you know, I'm very excited about the direction that the program is going. You know, with Timberland Washington and Janiyah Fisher leading the way, I think that we will bring a state championship to Lakeview in the next few years. As far as girls track, we have grew the track team tremendously. Last year, we took over 20 athletes to the state championships. We had Shakayla Browder to place 2nd in shot put in the state championship, and that is who Mr. Himes was just referring to, because she's at ETBU now, East Baptist University, and she just set the new school record in disc with a throw of 117 feet. So it's great to see that, and we have several athletes this year that are on that scale. Dylan Pipes is one of them, who is being recruited right now by Navy to go run track next year. So both programs are just going in the right direction, and we're grateful for all that y'all do for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Livestock team. And horticulture.
Hey y'all, my name is Sarah Mallett and I teach agriculture at Lakeview High School. I just wanted to say that I'm a definitely proud Lakeview High School graduate, and thanks. Yeah. When I was 14 at Lakeview, I was enrolled in agriculture classes, and I told my former teacher, Eric Smith, that I was going to take his job one day. So I'm very proud that when I had the opportunity to come to Lakeview, I'm able to be in the ag department. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we've done this year. Mr. Himes said we had 1 minute and 10 seconds, but I asked him for 1 minute and 30. So these are what our banners look like when we compete in contests in FFA. So FFA used to stand for Future Farmers America. It's not just about farming anymore. It's about agriculture and leadership. We got first in the Go Teach Ag contest, which is a public speaking contest. So a student wrote a lesson plan and taught it to students and was evaluated by college professors. And she placed first in that. We have first in floriculture. It's one of my favorites. Students have to identify 120 different plants that we use in the floral industry, be able to do arrangements, boutonnieres, identify diseases, how to control those diseases. We got first and second at that area, and then went on to take, sorry, these are big, second place in the state. We did that just a couple of weeks ago, so we were really proud to be able to get second place. There's also credentials tied to these contests that our students do. So with that state contest, several of our students also received a regional credential for doing something that they enjoy to do, and something that I definitely enjoy training. We also have first place in the state in SAEs. This is where a student forms their own agricultural experience. This one is nursery operations. So one student worked in the greenhouse for several years and then went on and took those skills to work at Stein's, where she was an employee for several years and was able to, help pay for college. And she could take those skills and also receive this award, and they get a check when they receive the award. So that was great. And then we have a first in ag communications, and that student, she wrote blogs about agriculture and then went on to do a podcast about agriculture. And she's currently in college right now studying to be an ag teacher. So we're really proud of what we do. We were hoping to be able to branch out and just continue growing. Our students are really motivated. We have really great kids at Lakeview, and I say that completely unbiased. But we appreciate y'all's support, everything that y'all do for us. Miss Pickney, she puts up with a lot from us, so we appreciate her too. And thank y'all so much.
Let's go JROTC, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Major Wiggins. This is Chief Thomas, and we are the Air Force JROTC instructors out at Lakeview. Our mission is to build citizens of character dedicated to serving our community and our country. We think we've done a great job this year with our community service. We have 2 big community service events that happens every month, all year round, even over the summer. We pass out food to the community through 2 different charities. This year, we are on track to pass out over 66,000 pounds of food to needy families in the Campty community. That translates to over 1,032 hours so far, with that still going up, and over 36 hours of community service per cadet. The other thing we're really proud of is our academics. Principal Himes mentioned earlier about his Gator Challenge, and he is right. The thrill level went through the roof when he talked about that. On the wall in the school, you can see all the kids that made the 20-plus club that he had put out there. 39% of the kids on that wall are also in JROTC. The other thing that we're really proud of is the the advancement that we made in our marksmanship team this year, and I'm going to turn it over to Chief Thomas to let him finish talking about that.
Thank you, Major. Our marksmanship program consists of 14 cadets. They range in ages, they range in grades from 9 to 12. We typically shoot 3 different targets in the prone sitting, prone, kneeling, and standing position. Those targets will look something like this. We typically start them on a training target, and then they graduate to these types of targets here. These are the same targets that we shoot at the competition level. They typically will shoot 10 rounds on each target for a total score of 300 points. We give them an opportunity to win their badges. There's marksmanship badge, there's a sharpshooter badge, and then there's an expert badge. Currently, we have 9 cadets that are currently shooting at the marksmanship level, and two cadets that's currently shooting at the sharpshooter level. In order to win those badges at the marksmanship, you have to shoot approximately 170 points out of 300, 220 out of 300 to get the sharpshooter, and 250 to get the expert. These are a couple of trophies that we won at different levels. We also have a short display. This is what we started off with when we first started the program. This is an old daisy where you had to pump it 4 times in order to get enough pressure to shoot the target. We recently graduated to these. This is a Challenger PCP. We don't have, this is the only one that we do have. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Colonel Maul and First Sergeant Selby. When we first started the program, we actually had to borrow from Natchitoches Central in order to compete in our program. So they were very helpful in loaning us those rifles. I would also like to thank, at this time, Mr. Himes, because when we first started, we had to build up and tear down our target range in the multipurpose room. He since gave us dedicated space in the old weight room, and now we have a dedicated space. So we will continue to develop our program. Our goal is to develop at least 5 to 6 cadets that are shooting at the expert level in order to compete at national. We thank you guys for your support this far.
And as Chief Thomas said, we're constantly repurposing space. The old weight room, we didn't let that go by the wayside. We took that old weight room and we turned it into a shooting range for ROTC. And so now they're developing that program and they're beginning to compete from that old weight room. And it's a pretty nice shooting range that we're developing it into. Okay, we're almost wrapped it up here. Can we go to our Mrs. Goff, National Honor Society, real quick?
Hello, my name is Mrs. Goff. I am the current National Honor Society sponsor at Lakeview High School. Our chapter has definitely been busy this year. The students are really gung-ho about being active in the community and participating in community service. We have completed, one of our projects was donating blankets to the Cancer Center, which is something that they had done many times in the previous years. They really enjoyed that. We have also began a program with Fairview Alpha where we send students down to work on reading and math with students down there whenever we can, with different scheduling and athletics and testing and other things are going on. And this week they will actually be participating with the city of Campty, with the mayor, in a project that he is doing for the students of Campty with an Easter egg hunt. So they will be volunteering in that as well. Our current National Honor Society leadership, our president, Zoe Britt, has really been an excellent model for the students, and she was just recently notified that she received a $32,000 scholarship to the college that she intends to go to. So we are very proud of her, and she's been an excellent role model serving as president this year for the National Honor Society. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Speaking of golf, the Helms are representing our newly formed golf team.
I told Mr. Himes I didn't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy tonight. We started golf at Lakeview 2 years ago, and it is a sport that it's a popular sport, but it's not popular among youth, and we wanted to try to grow the game. This is my son Holtz. When I said I didn't want to be that bragging parent, here I go. Holtz started playing 2.5 years ago and just decided that that's something he wanted to do. And so he he's done that, competed at the high school level for 2 years now. Had a good year last year. This year, we branched out and went to some bigger tournaments, some statewide tournaments, and last Thursday was notified that he was named the Central Louisiana High School Golfer of the Year. So he will also have an opportunity to participate in a tournament in June in Mandeville, I believe it is, and he will compete in the USGA National, Junior National, the Mid-State Amateur. If he advances to that, he will play in the PGA Junior National just outside of Chicago, Illinois in the first week of August. So that's what we're hoping for, but we're hoping to grow the team to more than just one person. It is a female-male sport. You have both teams, and we're trying to grow it and get more people out there and just give kids opportunity. That's one thing I can say. Since I've been at Lakeview, we've added sports every year. And so we're giving more opportunities, and we look to continue to do that. Thank you for the turf. It's coming. I promise you. I've seen pictures of it. It's been made. Can't wait to see it down. But once again, thank y'all very much.
And Coach Hill said that he was going to promise the school board a state championship next year. We told you we were adding to the school each year, and last year we added the dance line to our school, and hopefully it's a foundational dance line that can go on 2 years. Mrs. Washington.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Washington. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm fairly new to Natchitoches, but so far, so good. I am the dance instructor at Lakeview Junior Senior High School. I started the organization to try to give back every account that I have ever known my whole life, ballet techniques, lyrical, HBCU style, majorette, and elite jazz moves. We have hosted 5 dance camps so far. Each camp had literally 20 to 40 girls at each camp. We also do parades, and with those parades, we got recognition from retired NBA player Dirk Nowitzki. So we were able to go to Dallas, and we were his dance team. He was the grand marshal for the St. Patrick's Day parade. He also gave us an invite to come back and do it again next year. I got some more contact information to be working with the Cowboys, so maybe we can get that going on the road, maybe. But I'm just happy to actually see the girls doing something positive, keeping their grades up, and we're inspiring so many other little kids, not just in Campty, but in Natchitoches as well. So thank you so much.
Hey, quick question. So you may not be aware of this, but our superintendent is competing in a dance competition, and he may need your skills. So if you're open to training.
For charity.
That's fine. I will gladly help you.
Thank you.
Well, we thank y'all so much for inviting us here today. And in addition to that, we just wanted to say all of these guys here represent children. That's what they do. They represent children being involved in school. They represent preparing children to go on after graduation into college. And a lot of these are providing opportunities for monies for those students in the Campy area, because USA Today said that that was one of the top-rated poverty areas in the United States. But I can tell you now, our kids don't know that. And the reason they don't know that is because these guys sitting out here who came to this podium, these school board members that we've been so graciously blessed with, and all of you guys supporting them, has made sure that our children don't know that they are across the river from a little town called Campty and come to school with red mud on their shoes, because the same opportunities that are offered at every other school in the city are offered at Lakeview, and we appreciate that so much. Thank y'all.
Mr. Himes, we have a quick presentation for Ms. Sherry Helms. As you may or may not be aware, she's been collecting door prizes for the senior prom. And they haven't had prom in 2 years, and she wanted door prizes for the students. And so the board has been working very hard to collect these for you. So we have a basket full of goodies to bring back, and hopefully you'll give them to great kids who are having a good time at prom.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
By the way, our boys basketball was here.
Sure.
He is now on a tat. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, and excuse me, Coach Brian Williams is not here, but we were supposed to mention boys basketball, who went to state this year, and they were one of the last 2 men standing. And so they promised us that next year they'll go ahead and kick the door down. But I tell you, we are very, very, very proud as well of Lakeview basketball. They've made a name for themselves statewide. Thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Stewart.
This was given accolades. All of my years in recruiting and retention, I've been to Lakeview High School several times. Career days, everything. Lakeview is absolutely got some of the most well-disciplined, the manners, the skills that y'all have instilled, and this is accolades to the management, to the supervision, to the leadership. Your children are a step ahead of anywhere else I've ever been. And that's accolades to the leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Moving along with the committee meeting, we do have some guests with us from Natchitoches Central. Did you want to?
Yes, ma'am. So I was privileged, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I was able to take part in the inspection of the RTC unit over at, and I'm using military words like I know what I'm talking about, but the RTC folks over at Natchitoches Central under Lieutenant Colonel Malt and First Sergeant Selby. I hope I didn't slow us down that day, but it was very impressive, and they have their honor that they received that day to share with us today. So they always allow the cadets to lead, so I'm assuming that's going to happen tonight. But I turn it over to y'all, First Sergeant and Lieutenant Colonel.
All right, good evening, Dr. Eloy, board members, and other guests, excuse me. Today, me and my staff will be briefing the Natchitoches Central High School Chief Battalion's JRTC program for accreditation results. I would first like to start by introducing me and my staff. I'm Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Shamaria Harris, the battalion commander of the Natchitoches Central High School JRTC Chiefs Battalion. With me today, I have my battalion executive officer, Cadet Major Shakira Matoyer, my battalion personnel officer, Cadet Captain Johnny Garrett, my battalion security officer, Cadet Captain Rashawn Bayon, battalion logistics officer, Cadet Captain Preston Parker, and my battalion public affairs officer, Cadet First Lieutenant Ariana Smith. And absent from the staff today, I have the Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Kenneth Brickhouse, and my operations officer, Cadet Major Brendan Cooper. The JRTC program for accreditation is broken down into 7 different categories, in which you receive a number of points between the minimum and maximum number of points given by the evaluator based on the battalion's execution. In the battalion staff continuous improvement briefing and interview category, the maximum number of points that could be received was 35, and we earned all 35 points. In the service learning briefing category, the maximum number of points that could be received was 20 points, and we received all 20 points. In the cadet portfolio and interview category, the maximum number of points that could be received was again 20 points, and we earned all 20 points. In the unit report category, the maximum number of points that could be received was 35 points, and we received all 35 points. In the drill or in ranks category, the maximum number of points that could be received was 15 points, and we earned all 15 points. In the color guard category, the maximum number of points that could be received was 15 points again, and we earned all 15 points. And in the last category, our senior Army instructor, Lieutenant Colonel retired Anthony Malt, and our Army instructor, First Sergeant retired Michael Selby, their portfolios were reviewed. And this category could make or break us, being that each instructor can be awarded a maximum of 30 points, resulting in a total of 60 points. Fortunately, we have outstanding instructors that gained us the last 60 points, bringing us to a total of 200 points out of 200 points, meaning that the Chiefs Battalion of 2021-2022 did something very rare and scored a perfect 100% in the Jrotc program for accreditation. Receiving this score also means that our battalion gets to proudly keep the standard of honor unit with distinction and continue to wear the gold star on our uniform in representation of this honor. Thank you for having us.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. It was even more impressive being there that day and seeing the students lead everything as you saw tonight. So entering into the formal part of my superintendent report, I want to start off with COVID. I want to let you know that in the past month, really actually in the past 5 weeks, we've only had one COVID positive student and one COVID positive staff. So we are seeing what's reflected in the rest of the country, that our COVID positives and our quarantines are 0.0001%. And this is allowing us to really have our students with us at all time and do things that allow people the freedom to choose if they want to mask or not mask, as the board decided a few months prior. I do want to put on your radar that for next year, we have been approached about the testing program. That'll be something that will need to come before the board this summer to see if you desire to have that extended. Again, that is not mandatory. It's up to parents to enroll their students or staff. But the question to y'all will be, is that something we need to pursue moving forward into the next school year? Last board meeting, Reverend Harris had reached out to me in the board meeting about having a data discussion with Mr. Ben Legrand and Ms. Kathy Noel. I spoke to both of them, and they are excited to have that discussion with y'all. I wanted to broach with y'all that, and I can send an email, and you can come like we typically do for the Thursday meeting with y'all's desire. But we have kind of two options. Option one would be the entire group in a setting like a workshop setting, which we would have to do the open meeting law and advertise it a week prior, or to do 3 meetings of 4 board members. It is a pretty heavy conversation. So I think I spoke to Mr. Legrand. He thought those work groups might be better, but ultimately it's up to y'all. The 2 weeks that they are available immediately would be that last week of April, first week of May. So the week after we return back from Easter. So that would be the days of April 25th through 28th. That's a Monday through Thursday. April 25th through 28th. And then May 2nd through May 5th. And that's any time during the day. Again, it needs to be about a 2 to 3 hour window. But again, we're kind of having 2 decisions here. One, do we want to have whole group, or do we want to have 3 groups of 4? And then also seeing what days are best for everyone's schedule. So I can send out an email tomorrow with a reminder on this of the days and all the things that we need to clarify. If we don't even have a decision by Thursday, that's not the end of the world, because we just need to have a decision, especially if we have the entire group, to give us enough time to advertise, if we so choose to do it that way. I wanted to update you on summer school. We are fast approaching summer school. Summer school this year is going to be much larger, because by law we have to provide summer school for all students who are at a UIR or CIR school if they so desire. And if you look at our students in the parish, that comprises about 10 of our schools. So that means that we are anticipating having around 1,400 students in summer school. That's our kind of our goal internally. We're going to have 7 sites, providing those sites for you now. That will be LP Vaughn, Weaver, NJH, Natchitoches Central, Provençal, Fairview, and Lakeview. Basically, students will there'll be 2 different kind of pathways, as it were. There'll be the pathway for the traditional summer school student who needs to attend summer school, whether it be because of attendance or grade issues. But then there will also be a more enrichment version of summer school, although the first one will still have enrichment. But the other one will be for those students who just say, hey, I'd like to, parents want me to go here because it's a time to catch up on some learning, to recover that learning loss that they've had throughout the 2 years of COVID. So we're going to do a big push. We're going to have some social media stuff to get that out there, to really promote that to all students in the parish, so that they can all take part in that if they so choose. I wanted to briefly touch on the fact that testing window has started for high school for 9 through 12. They're taking those EOCs, or still LEAP 2025, but we still kind of use that old term. And that will run all the way until May 13th. For 3rd through 8th graders, their testing window starts April 25th and runs through May 25th. And I believe we have a really special video that we're going to share with folks that have a lot of folks around. And I think Ms. China is going to be getting with some of you board members to get you to say some things like, do well in the test or whatever. And we have some really big names all the way from Baton Rouge that are going to share those same sentiments. It's going to be exciting to see. I want to share that state literary rally just happened, and Natchitoches Central sent 16 students. 4 of those students had already placed first, and I don't think they have results back on that. Also want to touch base that we had the Special Olympics last week. Many of you saw the pictures. There were hundreds of students, most of them from the Natchitoches area, but some even from Red River Parish and other parishes. But really good showing by Natchitoches Central, and we love that partnership with NSU. You just saw a ton of kids and a ton of adults just having fun and enjoying themselves and getting to take part in athletic events and be the stars of the show, which they don't always get to do. So that was a really special time and exciting for those kids. I want to also touch on the fact that Saturday, April 30th, many of you are aware we have an election coming up on the 1-cent sales tax. That is, we want to reiterate, this is a renewal. I believe Mr. Wascom put it here, so we will have another shot at it if we need to, but we feel as though this is, something that's important to all our staff, our school district, and y'all all around this horseshoe know, well, I guess it's not a horseshoe anymore, but y'all know how important that is to the district. Miss Page has been busy at work with our teacher job fair. That's April 19th, 9 to 12. You've probably seen the flyers and the social media. We're very excited about that. Each school will have a booth set up to where they can really promote themselves and promote their school. Also and that'll be at the event center. Also want to remind folks that pre-K registration and enrollment has started, and they can go to teachingtomorrownow.com to start that process, or they can contact their school. We also have a Special Ed Advisory Council registration until April 22nd. That is our Special Ed Advisory Council. That's a chance for any community member, parent, someone who's maybe a retired special education teacher, or someone who just, that's their passion. They can get on that council, and they can help provide insight and diverse opinions to Ms. Lacaz and her staff, and I'm also usually in those meetings as well, so it helps us to know what's going on and get better perspective. And then finally, I just want to remind everyone of our graduations coming up. It sounds crazy to say, but graduation season is upon us. So NPTCC will graduate May 18th. Natchitoches Central will graduate May 20th. And Lakeview will graduate May 12th. And we'll put out a social media push from the district on that. And if we would love to have as many board members as possible there because it's always fun to have y'all. I think we set a record last year at Natchitoches Central. So that is my superintendent report for this month.
Okay. Are there any questions for Dr. Eloy about his report?
I have one question, and it's a similar thing. We do a job fair for teachers and whatever. Ms. Page, Rapides Parish has a job fair for graduating seniors. Is there any way we can look into doing that next year? And I'm not sure of the particulars, but I think it's a very interesting concept. Bring in industry, business, and let them see what we have to offer.
So I actually spoke to Superintendent Powell from Rapides and then Superintendent Tedley from Grant Parish, who recently did it, and they're supposed to be sending some information. And I haven't actually talked to Miss Pinckney yet, but since she's that's kind of her jam, we are going to be looking to do something of that nature for next year. So I think that'll be good for our students, and it just looks it's a great time to interact with the business community and make those partnerships.
Okay. No other questions?
With the summer school, you indicated the different locations for summer school and that some kids would have the option. So if kids are failing and they need to take certain subjects, it's would be basically up to the parent to sign them up.
So
consent forms,
yes, ma'am. Sorry, I'm getting used to this microphone. So some students, it'll be a letter that goes home that will say your student needs to come to summer school because if they don't, they could potentially be retained due to absences or their grades, things of that nature. Any student who's at a UI or CR school, though, will get a letter that will say you can come to summer school. And I think, Mr. Legrand, is there a digital registration as well as they can also sign up on paper as well? Yeah. Yeah. So they'll be able to sign up digitally. And if that's not a good option for them, they can also sign up the old paper way by contacting their principal. But either way, like say you're at LP Vaughn, you're going to get at least one letter about summer school. But you perhaps could get the other letter that says you need to come to summer school for a remediation, something of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Are buses running?
Yes, ma'am. Buses, lunchroom, everything.
Okay, next item on the agenda is old business. Item 3A, update on the parking lot at the bus barn. Mr. Benefield.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Mr. Wascom has given a brief update, and he said by next month he would have a final report for us, so I'd like to table that until next month if possible.
Okay. Item 3B on old business, update on Echo Ride contract. Mr. Benefield.
Thank you. We voted to renew the contract last year. We actually never saw the final version. We saw the parameters. And so I'd like for us to discuss and have a brief discussion. Is there been any issues with that sliding scale? We're coming off COVID, we're coming off masks, we're coming off a lot of things. Ms. Washington and her staff have done a great job of keeping us staffed and keeping us rolling. So just a quick thing with the contract.
I've personally, no news has been good news. We've really had no problems with the staff. The sliding scale there was no increase in expenses from last year to this year. Next year, it will be 1.85%, and for the next 4 years, 1.85% each year for the next 4 years, and that will complete the 5-year extension. I've not heard, honestly, have y'all heard much with the school bus compared to what was the case? No news has been good news for us.
This is the smoothest it's been in a long time.
Well, and I would like to say, I think that's number one. It's in tribute to our bus drivers, but you got to have a good leader. And Miss Washington, she's very quiet, but she gets it done. And I'll give you one example real quick. Boys and Girls Club needed 50 kids to change routes because we want to support that club. It's a big deal. We're trying to get kids involved, but it was kind of something that was not easy to do. We'll just put it at that. And me and Miss Washington had many phone calls, and it was not something that I think made her life easy. And she moved heaven and earth to make sure that those 50 kids were put on different buses for Boys and Girls Club, and it did not affect anyone else's routing. And I think that specific situation is a testament to how good she is in that position. So thank you so much.
Wow, that's great.
Okay, item 3C, update on number of long-term substitute teachers to permanent teachers and path forward. Mr. Benefield.
Ms. Page has been keeping her thumb on the pulse of this since we were elected as a board, and we have set it as a goal. I did personally for sure. And she continues to impress us by bringing more. We've also, as a board, have decided to grow our own, and there's been a lot of layers. And so, Ms. Page, can you give us an update?
I feel I feel like I'm at church, you know, where we say, giving honor to God and all of that stuff, kind of like Ms. Harris did. But I want to thank him, and I want to thank you guys for pushing us and supporting us and giving us the resources we need so that we could put a person with a person, so that we could have a person to put their hands on them, because it takes that. So I am proud to say that we now have 27 people who are now credentialed. They're in the process. They've started the process of establishing the qualifications to become certified. So we have some people who are out of state. That means usually they've taken a different route. They did it online, so when they get their certification, it shows up as being certified in that state. We have some people who are on a TAT. We have some people who are on a PL. We have some we've submitted, so we're just waiting on the State Department, but it's going to happen. So that 87 that we talked about is now 60. We've gone from 87 to 60.
Mrs. Page, back up. It was 104 years ago.
I'm just talking just this year.
You're cutting that number in half.
I
So
am.
let's
I
give
wanna be
credit where
modest.
credit's
I
due
wanna be
with our
modest.
staff and Ms. Page.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Mr. Benefield, for making us get it. Okay, questions?
All right, any new business to come before the board? All right, we will move down to item 5C, out-of-state travel for Shauna Hicks. Who has?
If I may, while she's coming to the board, I just realized I didn't attach her paperwork to it.
Yeah, where you going, sis?
I didn't attach her paperwork, and I didn't
Actually,
attach
the good
Mr.
news about my
Wiggins,
travel
but I
is it
will.
doesn't cost anything. I applied for a scholarship and received it to go to Ole Miss for a week in June to receive training from the Institute of Child Nutrition for new directors in my position, people that have had their job for less than 5 years. So I'm really, really excited about attending this, and I think it's going to be a real benefit to our program and our parish. So that's where I'm headed. So I ask for your approval to do that, especially since it will not cost the district anything. They'll cover all travel and all lodging, all of it.
Thank you. Okay. Item 6A, receive budget update, Lee Wascom.
Miss Phelps, I'm
Yes.
sorry, and I believe they're here, but I.
Oh, yeah, Major.
Yes, I'm, just realized I did not attach their paperwork to those two out of states. I will have it
Oh,
on there
okay.
for Thursday. It was turned in. We've got Major Wiggins and Chief Thomas. And I think it's a routine thing, yeah, at no cost.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is gonna be no cost to the board. We're traveling on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so we'll be out of pocket for one day. We've got everything squared away. Air Force and the fundraising that we do throughout the year is gonna pay for the entire trip, so no cost to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, item 6A, Lee Wascom, receive budget update.
Well, I certainly do like the no-cost reports, is it? Okay, does everybody have it pulled up? Y'all can see that column 1 is the budget, column 2 is last year, and column 3 is year-to-date. Numbers are significantly increased, but they're all in proportion. The revenue's up about, about 5.5 million. The expenses are up kind of similarly. I don't see any major problems at this time. Child nutrition is, I don't want to steal your thunder, but child nutrition is doing pretty well at this point, particularly as it relates to what was going on last year. Last year, at this point, we had sustained about $400,000 in losses. Child nutrition is in the positive right now and should still continue to do better. Just depends on what your billing for last month was. Title I and ESSER funds. ESSER funds is something that we added here. Title I is a little down right now. I believe that sometimes it's just timing on how our title stuff lands. I don't really know sometimes why they vary, but generally, trust me, by the end of the year, it will all be spent.
It's in supplies.
It's generally in supplies, yeah. Timing on supplies. ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 are the new items we've added to this. Currently, we've spent $640,000. With this COVID money that we approved last time, which we hope will be out within the next week or two, it will,
Mr. Wallace,
this number will go up significantly.
And I apologize for not referencing this in my superintendent report, but do you mind if I take a moment, Madam President, to address that real quick? Because I know
Certainly.
there's a lot of interest in it. Suffice it to say, anytime we do a special payroll run, SNS, which is our accounting system, has to create a piece of software.
Well, they program within the software.
Exactly. And
specialized for us.
Just for us. And if you remember last year, we did, I think the high was 1,050, and this one went up to 1,500. So initially, we thought that was going to be an easy transfer, but because of the change in numbers, that required a brand new piece of software. I think this past week, they sent us a file that they had done based on the new piece of software. That file was incorrect. So theoretically, we could have run that payroll on that, but everyone would have gotten an incorrect amount. It would have been a disaster. So we sent it back and informed them of the issues. We are hoping this next time they send us the new file, that new file will allow us to make some minor corrections and then run that payroll. I've talked to Mr. Harris and Mr. Wascom over and over about this. I want everyone to be aware. Payroll department gets this COVID compensation as well. It's not something we are trying to delay, but it's really is a logistics issue with an outside vendor that we are working diligently on, and I promise you it's something I annoyingly ask Mr. Wascom and Mr. Harris about
frequently.
Every day. So just to make everyone aware, we're not holding on to it for any other reason except we want to do it correctly, and we have to wait on that software to do it correctly.
Oh, yes, sir, please.
So is there anything that we need to do different? Because you said that the first software was for, I think, 1050, right?
Yeah, 1,050. But the start, stop dates were differ. Also, they're having personnel troubles. They've had a lot of people who no longer with them. They're replacing them, and speed of update sometimes is not quite as what we were used to. There's a famous lady in Houston who used to do a lot of the work for us, and her name was Kim, and she no longer. It was a big loss losing her. But anyhow, we're getting it done.
Yeah. That being said, it does seem like, and I promise I won't use dates, but that we feel like we're close, very, very close. Yes, sir.
No, because we're getting questions every time I go through the school.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're all getting them.
Yeah, but we did not give a date either. We
Correct.
said we were going to work on it.
No. There was some dates given.
Oh, really? I remember the last meeting, we said we were going to be around the second or third week of April.
There was some dates given, but
Okay.
that's neither here or there. But anyway.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we are not needing to do anything different because I know we approved the 15, but the software is programmed for 1050, right?
Correct, and it's also had different stop dates.
So even if,
And
and I know no one is suggesting change the number or anything like that, but even if the number was changed because the dates had changed from last year, it wouldn't be effective anyways. But they have assured us that this next run they're gonna do, even if there's minor issues, it'll be correctable enough. Instead of 50% of issues, it'll be like, 2%. We can go in and hand correct 2%. We can't hand correct 350 different things. It's just not, possible.
yeah, it's about 800 entries. Yeah. Okay, that's it for the budget report.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And backtracking just for a second, a few minutes ago, we had out-of-state travel for Ms. Hicks and the guys from Natchitoches Central. Going forward, y'all just happen to be here to talk about it. I know a lot of times we get that request and no one's here to talk about it. Who should be presenting that?
I believe, well, what they do is they submit it to us in advance, the 30 days in advance, so they explain what it is. So typically, I can explain what that is,
Okay.
if that's.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, moving right along, child nutrition, Ms. Hicks.
We had a very robust March. Our claim for March was up to $392,000, which was great. We were feeding an average of 3,700 kids lunch every day and about $18.50 for breakfast each day. So we're having great participation from our kids. All of the equipment that we ordered and lived through listening to the bids is here and it's been installed. So the kitchens are enjoying having some new equipment. We are planning summer school. Right now I'm working on the scheduling for everyone, but we are prepared to take care of our kids this summer. One item that I forgot, it's my fault. I should have put on the agenda tonight to request permission to put bids out for milk and food and paper goods. I'll add that to Thursday night's agenda, but those will be I'd like to get those out in May, so I should have had them on tonight, and the time got away from me. And then the only other thing I had on my report was the news that I would be traveling this summer to get some training that I think will be very beneficial. Do you guys have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, item 6C, receive personnel report, Ms. Page.
I really don't have anything to say other than look at it and tell me if you have any questions or comments.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
2B, I thought had left a long time ago.
No, ma'am. She was not gone. She was not gone.
Okay.
She hasn't been here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Her body has not been here.
Yes, ma'am.
I got you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
she
any
was
other
in
questions for
work.
Ms. Page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moving along, transportation report, Mrs. Washington.
Good afternoon, everybody. As of right now, the only thing I really have to talk about, well, really not talk about, was just to mention the Boys and Girls Club. Like Dr. Eloy said earlier, we did get a request for it and had about 50 kids. And so far, the only problem we have with that are other kids, I guess have heard about it and they're trying to get on to go to the Boys and Girls Club. But we strictly had those 50, and so we had to let them know that they have to wait till next year. But everything else is, going well. We're still doing recruiting, trying to bring in new drivers and everything to get prepared for next school year. But other than that, everything is going well. You have any questions for me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Ms. McGee.
How's it looking with the number of drivers as far as the shortage?
Shortage, we're down like 3, but they're in an area where they can we can't, you know, split the route up, and we have other drivers filling in for it, so it hasn't caused us any, like, big turmoil or anything. So they're being covered and not at a untimely manner. They're still getting home around the same time, give or take 5 minutes.
I had someone who was interested in driving for Echo. And so, as a board member, if we receive that question, we should send them directly to you?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
They
Okay.
can come to us or go online at echoride.com.
Okay.
And do an application there, and as soon as they finish their application, someone in the office will contact them for interview and stuff. So it's just as simple, go on echoride.com, and if they can't, for some reason can't navigate through the application there, they come in the office and we'll help them with the application in the office.
Thank you.
Ms. Washington, I know this is somewhat repetitive, but I do want you to understand how much we appreciate the collab with the Boys and Girls Club. That is a huge, huge thing for our community, and that actually makes the difference in the club up and running and not running at all.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, and that's definitely changing the lives of children.
I'm glad we
So
could
thank
help.
you.
Glad we could help. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, 6E, Maintenance Report, Mr. Ryan Shirley.
Good evening, how are y'all?
Great.
Mainly want to go over a couple of our construction projects we have going on. In CHS, we're moving along pretty well. I mean, it's looking a lot better than what it has been. We're starting to get materials in, things are rolling. East, we are moving to the punch list tomorrow, so we will be doing the punch list on it. Hopefully it will be coming to an end soon. Material completion. Then we have Weaver, which the construction is getting close. We were kind of on standstill for a while with a water valve that needed to be replaced by the city. They have that done for us now, and we're moving forward with that. LP Vaughn and Magnet, we have, Mr. Wascom has signed the substantial completion, from what I heard earlier. So those are at an end, so yay. 2 things off the list, woohoo. Other than that, we, Fastenal, we're still working with those. We have actually started to get in minor stuff for the vending. We've got some bolt bins in from them that they're currently keeping stock for us. We haven't got our machines built yet, but I knew that was going to take time, so we're still working on that. New work order system is up and going, and we're working out the kinks. It's actually worked pretty well so far. Had a lot of positive feedback on it, but there is some things that we need to go in and add. Lawn care, of course, is ongoing every day. We've got some schedule conflicts we're going to work out and work with some principals on some different things, but so far going good. Water at Fairview, that's actually being studied again by a chemical company from the city to see, or actually from the water district, so we shall see how that goes. And one of the main things that I have, we have now hired our warehouse person and our carpenter. So we have added 2 very significant team members to the maintenance department, and we look to add a few more.
That's awesome. Mr. Harris.
I have a question on that hire. Did we replace the warehouseman, which would have been the person who was deceased, right?
Yes, the warehouse position's been open since before I started.
Right. So we approved the warehouseman, but we never approved warehouseman / secretary.
All
to
that,
my
all,
knowledge.
okay, all that is, and the reason we put that on there is because now they're gonna have to have computer skills, and there's gonna be things with skills that they're gonna have to do with a computer. Yeah, yeah, well, I just wanted to explain to her what it is.
Okay.
They're still gonna be over ordering all materials They're gonna be inside the work order system. They're still gonna be carrying parts from one place to another, just like a warehouseman. But everything is going to a computer-generated system. So they're gonna have to have those secretarial duties, and if they don't, then they're not gonna be able to help us like they need to.
So in all actuality, we should have approved, because that's gonna be new responsibilities as well. So
Not really. It's gonna be the same responsibility,
the
just.
warehouseman,
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's gonna be the same responsibility as a
is
warehouse.
this one person?
Yes, this is one, no, this is one person. So this one person is doing everything the warehouseman done, but they have to have the secretarial duties in order to be able to do it because of the new computer systems, the Microsoft Word, and everything that else is going on with it. Everything is done
Right.
online.
And so that's what we should have approved, to my knowledge.
If there was a
If there's a
change to job description.
Job description.
So, and I'm not sure if there was a change to job description, or was
There's
this,
really not a change to the
or was
job
this
description.
posted with an additional title, or I'm unsure which.
This was posted with the additional title, which
Okay,
we
but-
had discussed.
But in HR, is it actually, in actuality, did anything change with the job description?
Description chart change, we should
Correct.
approve that.
Correct.
Okay.
Listen, we needed that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you
yeah,
have a
yeah.
problem with
Oh, I understand, but like I say, we had discussed it, and like I say, these duties are needed for the new way we're ordering things and the way we're replacing parts and so forth and so on.
But you are correct, Reverend Harris.
Right.
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure
yeah,
that
I'm,
the board understands that we need to, that's what we should have approved, not just because the warehouseman, was not a new position.
no, it's not.
We would
Yeah,
have
the
just
way,
been replacing, whoever was not there, so
Right.
then therefore, they stepped right in, we didn't have to do anything, as far as that was concerned, you know? We just approved whoever it is, you know?
So thank you for catching that. Do we need to go back and approve that position change?
that would be,
I'm not sure.
Okay.
no, actually it was discussed, but, yeah. But like I say, now that's something I didn't realize that,
Obviously, I didn't catch it.
yeah, well, I kinda think it all kinda slipped under. And now that you say that, I understand.
With,
Yes.
with Clutterville, with, the lighting, what's the holdup?
Getting people out there to do it. We just got our Marthaville completed, and how long have we been working with SWEPCO on that? Probably 3 or 4 months. That's how far behind they really are. But, yeah, it has to go before an engineer now. Everything else we've done. But I did talk to Mr. Johnson, the one that I'd been talking to. He finally got me to the right people for the permit to do it. So I will find out, and maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
I can have you an update.
Yeah, 'cause I was down there last week, right in the gate. They have a transformer, they have a light there, look like the light just blowed out, so you were saying, it was saying that.
Yeah, all
to find
that's
that thing.
disconnected. But I have to fill out, I had to
Well,
go through
it's-
and set up a whole new account and everything. All that account and everything has been completely done away with. So I had to go back in and set up a whole new account for it through the school board in order to even have them come look at it. So, yeah, it's not been an easy process.
Okay.
When we discussed this before, didn't we discuss like a plumber, an electrician, and the carpenter, and, just taking the people that you had?
But training them.
Yeah.
Cross-training.
Call that. I don't remember if we had that, any of that either, though.
I remember you mentioning something about training.
Oh, why don't you remember?
Look back, but I do remember discussing that.
Oh, you talking about the warehouseman?
Yeah.
But see, the warehouseman has been open even way before I came. That was a spot that was still open and on the books, and we needed to fill. So that was way before my time.
Right. With the slave secretary.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So when you drive by on East Fifth and you look at Weaver and East Natchitoches, they're looking so good. They're looking amazing. But when you go by at night, like Weaver has yellow lights and East Natchitoches is like bright lit up. Will they ever match the lights?
I'll find out. Because one should be LED.
And I think East Natchitoches is LED and then Weaver is not.
I will.
Yeah. Yeah, and aesthetically, East Natchitoches looks amazing at night with the lights. Looks really good.
May I ask a question? If there, a school had an issue with mice or rats, do you all handle that, or
Yes, ma'am.
does the principal
Well, the actual principal calls me
calls
and I
and
call the
report, and
exterminator.
you all take care of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I know something came up with a particular school recently, and I'm sure the principal was on top of it. I just didn't know the procedure.
Yes, ma'am. They actually, well, some of them actually send work orders, and some of them just call and say, "Hey, we have a pest issue," and then we call the exterminator. Exterminator goes out and sees them.
Okay.
Emil, I wanted to address your comments. We have a bid opening a week from today at 2 p.m., and it will be for the bid to demolish Clutcheville. And also, we have an RFP out at the same time to any private individual who wants to make a request for proposal as to what to do with the building privately, okay? So next board meeting ought to be fun, because we will have proposals potentially about what to do with it privately, and if y'all don't want to take any of those things, we will have a proposal to demolish ready to go, standing right behind that. So do y'all understand what, these just happen to go coincidentally, but they will both be ready for us at the next board meeting. Any proposals. I'm going to thin the herd on the proposals if they're just not measuring up with Dr. Eloy's guidance as well. They need to be reasonably financially backed. I don't want to present something to y'all that's not materially valuable. But if we have a couple of people, we might present it. If none of the choices are taken by the board, then we can choose to then accept the bid to demolish. Okay? So I just want to make sure that all this is ongoing at the same time. The bid opening for the request for proposal, I believe, is the 9th for that. And
Okay, so-
that's just wide open, by the way.
So that will probably be covered under 7D, update on the Clutcheville site.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of the agenda. Well, he asked it, and I just stepped in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was
Any
just
other-
asking about with the lighting and stuff, but, we got, time, just hope by the time change, we'll have lighting there because it's,
I will try to have you answer by Thursday's meeting.
long as we have it, by time daylight saving times or what, it changed because it was dark with these kids.
Okay.
Huh?
They cut that out. I thought they froze daylight saving time permanently.
No, it won't change it. They hadn't froze it yet. They're talking about doing it, but they hadn't froze it. Yeah.
All right, anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Shirley. Okay, item 6F, sales tax report for March 2022.
Ms. Reba, if I may, can I just remind the board to please speak into your mics?
Oh, I didn't know who was talking. Yes.
I've got better news than it looks. This report was given to me a couple of days ago, so I presented it. And go to about the second page from the bottom. Yeah, that's the car. Can you zoom in on that? That little chart, that grid at the bottom. Go down a little bit. Do y'all see how it says a 18.84% increase in the last column, bottom right? That's not accurate. The number is actually a 39.08% increase. I will have that report updated for y'all. I spoke at length today with Laura, notifying that she's pulling her number from the wrong column and that the number is actually 39% increase. You can actually, if you go up 2 pages, I think, Actually, no, that's the cumulative number. I'm sorry, that is accurate. 19% is accurate. Go up 2 pages. Yeah, right now, zoom in on that one. Sorry, this is showing a 28% growth, and it's really supposed to be a 39.8% growth. And you can see that because last year we had $1.3 million in collections, and this year we have $1.8 million in collections. It is a 39.8% growth. And cumulative for the year, we're at 18.84% growth, which is really tremendous. I will have this updated. She was pulling from the wrong column there, and now she sent me the corrected and updated. I asked her now, what is causing the sales tax and can it be sustained? She said all the oil and gas, all the hotels were busy. They're all 100% occupied. She can see that in her occupancy. She says she does not see any change in this anytime soon. And one of the things I will tell you that I'm very thankful we do the sales tax checks is this puts a lot more money in the amount of money we distribute, and we'll keep up with any adjustments to the teachers with any inflation. As you know, when you're increasing, you're having 39% growth. Inflation is not at 39% growth. But for the month of March, our contribution into the sales tax fund to be distributed in July went up 39% over the same month last year. It is averaging 20% higher for the year. This means that the teachers' salaries are keeping up with even these dramatic times of inflation. And I believe that now they have to wait till twice a year to get that adjustment. But when I brought the salary schedule to y'all last month, that was their base pay discussion. But this is their sales tax check discussion. And I'm really happy we have the system. It's one of the advantages of the system.
So in July, sales tax checks should see a major increase even over last year?
Major increase over last year. At current rate, basically what you got last year, based on current trends, it should be a 19% higher check.
That's correct.
Wow.
That's a significant check. So now I can't guarantee this until all the numbers are finally in, but that's the current trend. So that's one thing that is an advantage of the sales tax check and the way we do it, is it is keeping the teacher's salary up with inflated costs that's going on. But I talked to Laura. She says she does not see any of this going down, any of these sales tax numbers going down for at least 1 year. So, and she went through a lengthy discussion about a lot of this is the oil development and how full it is out there at the interstate. So.
Okay.
I'm really thankful.
Any other questions for Mr. Wasco?
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Finance, Facilities, Services, and Insurance Report, Russ Dancy.
Item 7A, permission to advertise for bids. I understand that we're going to add something to the agenda on that for Thursday. Item 7B, take appropriate action on bids.
I will have one added to Thursday. We did, our culinary arts kitchen equipment did come in yesterday. I will have that to present to y'all Thursday.
Great. Item 7C, discuss financial impact of new school calendar. Mr. Benefield?
Mr. Wascom is working on some numbers, and I'd like to defer this until next month and table it.
Item 7D, update on Clutchville site, which we just
I'm sorry, I just did that.
So that concludes finance.
No, I got some questions on Clutchville site.
Yes, sir.
What went on with this building down at Clutchville? What's going to happen with that?
We had asked that that removal of that building quit, just like we had also asked people quit stealing the copper out of the building, but that has continued.
But now the building is gone, what legal steps can we actually do? Because the building first was given away, and I brought it to your attention that we cannot give school board property away.
Right.
And you questioned me about, did I know, about it, and I told you contact the lawyer. But then it went on to do it, and our price, what that building would cost brand new to build it now would be anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000
Really?
to build that building. Now, a used building would cost, if you would sell it, a used building for somebody to think, it would price anywhere from $20,000 to $70,000. So we have lost that kind of money because of a mistake that somebody give the building away, and then we told them to stop, and then they went on and took it. So something need to be did. I don't know what we need to do, but if we got question on giving stuff away, that's the reason we have attorneys. You asked to hire Mr. Stamey, where you'd have help with that. We need to find out before, because we got several things that went on that then we got to make a step back. Cause if we got to think about something, when we start thinking about it, we need to get legal attorney opinion on it.
Yeah.
What we need to do, because something need to be did. If we told him to stop and then they went on and finished taking it down.
Yeah, that was very frustrating.
Yeah. So I don't know what can y'all do about it. We need to see what we can do, because
Well,
even
sheriff
if
may have records.
we'd have beated this out like we were supposed to do, and we could have maybe got $10,000 for this building. And we always need money, so now we out of this money. Make this guy pay for what the building would be worth.
In addition, we need to make sure the insurance people taking it down, so
Yeah.
the liability is still there.
Yeah, but it is completely took down. We asked them to stop, and then they went back and finished taking the rear. They took all the tin from around it. Then we asked them to stop. Then they went back and took all the red iron down. It's completely, all you got is a slab of cement down there now. So the whole building is gone.
I say that's not necessarily Niagara Parish assets, that's belongs to the state too.
Yeah. So we haven't did, and it's been, I contacted Mr. Watson about 2 weeks ago, and we hadn't did nothing about it, they hadn't investigated, you know, we let stuff just linger on. You know, and I know we was planning on demolishing it, but even demolishing it, as surplus, we can't just get rid of it. We supposed to actually auction that off a half sealed bid with all this stuff what's in that building.
Yeah, we would've had a lot of farmers down there would love to have that for a tractor shed.
Oh, yeah, you know. And that's what I had called, well, why did we just give it away? Why we didn't offer it to other people before, you know, what we did.
Okay.
So are we certain that this person received the letter asking him to stop?
So
Verbally, yeah.
So the initial person that I think Mr. McTwire is referencing was told verbally, I think multiple times.
Multiple times.
The person that I think y'all called me about 3 weeks ago now, on a Saturday, that person, according to the sheriff's department, that was a different entity, because if you recollect, they actually referenced one of the companies that's bidding to tear down the school, and said that they got permission from that company. So I think we're talking about two different individuals. The one who started was told to stop, and then this other one who came in, that the last one who came in, which I don't know if they're the one who took all the red iron, there's a police report on that one.
The one that took the red iron is the same one what started with the building.
Okay.
That's who took it.
Okay. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
First
maybe,
one,
maybe what
then
we
the
need to
second
do is
one,
sit-
then the first one came back.
You sit down with the sheriff and
Yeah.
talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe let them know some board members want legal action taken, or maybe email the attorney and ask what our options are.
Remedy, yeah.
Because there's a problem with that, y'all, you know.
Well, the whole process.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just have to make sure that doesn't happen more, because we could have deeper ramifications for not doing something about it.
There could be some liabilities involved in that, is that correct? But if they do it without our permission, that's something different. You bring charges against that individual.
We probably need to renew our policy on that. That's, need to see that policy, exactly what our, you know.
Well, the lawyer
I thought
told
we
me
moved
that
it
we
just-
cannot get rid of school board
No.
property.
Yeah.
Unless it's a sealed bid or an auction.
Any assets like that.
Yeah, in assets. That's the reason we used to have the big auction down at the bus barn about every 3 or 4 years, and then whoever bought it, they would give them so many days, I think 30 days to get it off our property, and if they didn't get it off our property, we throwed it away, because, you know, they had a certain time to do it. Or they would go on, I know they did, when Fairview closed, they did on-site auction up there at Fairview and then the other schools. And that's not our policy, it's either a state or federal policy. And it's probably both policies, because you get federal money and state money into that.
Mr. Wascom, is it feasible that we could have an update maybe Thursday?
Yeah, I'll reach out to the sheriff and try to see if we can get that investigated.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Mr. President, it may be good for us to look at, what our policies say still, you know?
Yeah.
What won't be misconstrued.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of confusion about policy in a number of areas.
Right.
Okay,
That concludes finance, Mr. President.
thank you. So, number 8, personnel report. Ms. Page, you've already spoken to us. Did you have anything else to add in the last few minutes? No, you're good, okay. All right, item number 9, executive report. Ms. Beverly Broadway, chairperson.
Yes, so items 9A and B will be addressed Thursday. So let's move down to item 9C, capacity definition, and this is going to be Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am. So policy JBCE was brought to y'all, I believe, in November. And JBCE defines the intra-district transfer policy for students at a failing school who want to go to a non-failing school. Unfortunately, that policy is somewhat ambiguous because it says if there is capacity. And I believe what Bessie has seen is that some students around the state have been denied the ability to transfer because districts will say there's a capacity issue. So they have mandated that we define what capacity is. And if you look at this, basically what we've done, and this is in line with what practically every district has done, this was given to us with some guidance from Forethought and some folks like that and some legal, is they've basically taken the total capacity of a school classroom, which for 3 through 8th is like 33, and underneath that is 26. And what our policy says is that we would take capacity for us for those transfer students would be 85% of that state mandated total. So that it allows a little buffer for students to be able to transfer. And this is in line with at least Region 7, pretty much every district has adopted this policy. So all we're doing, we're not changing JBCE, we're just taking capacity in JBCE and defining what capacity means. And it has some other language in there to basically say, the logistics and the minutia of the transfers that are on there, or how they occur.
Superintendent Eloy, you when we established the virtual school and we said there would not be jumping back and forth, and I don't see anything in here that addresses that. Is that included? Am I missing it?
Are you talking about specifically for the virtual school?
No, for this policy. You know what I'm saying? They've given choice, but they
There-
may go 6 weeks and say, I don't want to go, or, you know, what do we have in place for that?
I don't believe there's anything that referenced that specifically, but if there's some language that the board would like is in terms of, once you make the move, if you move back to homeschool, not being allowed to do that multiple times in a year, we can put some language in there.
This is a great policy. I like the wording. It fits, it addresses all the issues, but I think that's the only thing that I saw that was missing.
Okay.
And we have that in other policies.
So do y'all have, would we, just some suggestions so I can kind of edit this and bring it to you Thursday of a one-and-one, or thoughts on that?
Well, Madam President, I thought this was a ongoing legislative matter too. That some people have brought this back before the legislature.
Yeah.
So this may change again, because some folks are really pushing on being able to send their children, I guess, across, parish lines.
Well, this only deals with inside the parish, but I think it.
This was on the inside, okay.
Yes, sir, but I do believe what this is really in response to, unfortunately, I believe, and I don't know any examples, but there's probably some parishes that just would tell people, no, you can't make the transfer because of dot, dot, dot. And they'd say capacity, and I think Bessie and legislators have heard this over and over again. It's like, okay, well, how do you define capacity? Is it based on class size, or is it based on the fire marshal, or is it based on some arbitrary number that a superintendent or a principal comes up with? And so that's where this, I think this is where it's coming from. But you are correct. There's some legislation that's also discussing all those sorts of things. So I can add some language in there for Thursday that I think would address that, and I'll see if it's something y'all like.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I think that's in our best interest to go ahead and make that what you're talking about, because what happens later on and we don't have anything to cover that. The rest of it's great work.
No, and that happens often, so that's no problem.
Right, and we just want to make sure this is the place where that would be addressed, because if not, we don't want to rewrite a policy if
No,
that should be addressed somewhere else.
No, I think there's a section in there that it would be appropriate on, and I think this would be the place. I
Okay.
do, yeah. See that?
Any additional questions? All right, let's move on to 9D, tutorial program for CRI schools. Ms. McGaskey.
In reference to this request, I asked that it be put on our agenda today because of a serious concern in regards to a lot of the schools that are failing academically. And we've had some, previous discussions. And I'm gonna just read quickly what my notes that I made. I asked that this important item be placed on the agenda, since there's a large number of schools in Natchitoches Parish, or CIR or UIR schools, basically failing schools. I've spoken with several principals and teachers at various schools within the parish throughout the city who have indicated the most important resource to assist them in the classroom on a daily basis and enable them to assist those failing students would be tutors in the classroom on a daily basis, even if it was a half a day. This would allow them to be able to assist those students that are having academic difficulties. Because in consideration with all the daily tests that a teacher has to deal with, it doesn't allow them sometimes to work with those students that are having difficulties, to allow them to get into the group settings and work with those particular students on a daily basis. I've even been told that some exceptional students are doing better than some kids in the regular classroom setting that are having difficulties, because they get the desk help and they're able to be taken out of the classroom and worked with on a one-on-one basis. And so though they're appreciative of the assistance that they're receiving in regards to the instructional specialists, they're not able to provide that specific assistance that they're needing to make a significant change in regards to the disparity in regards to, academics. And so we had indicated that, we want to ensure that all of our children are able to receive the best education that this parish can offer. So I'm asking that we would make some considerations, consider what resources and tools would be available to make this happen. And I know that we had discussions in regards to this matter, and Ms. Broadway indicated we could possibly have some students to come and assist from NSU, and I think that's a great idea. And in speaking with our president, she had indicated possibility of having some volunteers, which that's another source, but volunteers are not guaranteed on a daily basis. So I'm asking the board and asking our financial department to look and see whereby we can find funding that should possibly be available to pay for tutorial, a program in those schools where there's a need. And, would you mind, providing that information to us, on Thursday if it's possible, to see what monies we would have available is it feasible? We know that there is a need, and that should be a priority to ensure that all of our students are performing to the best of their ability academically. That's our number one priority. So I'm asking for you all to look for available funding to pay for tutors, asking the board to consider that we make this a priority, because we are hiring people for new positions all over the parish, in the central office, in the schools, but it's still not addressing the problem of failing students throughout our school district. And so I'm asking that you will consider this. I'm asking the board members to make this a priority consideration, to do all that we can to improve our schools academically. And so this should be a number one consideration, to work and provide the funding to provide those persons that are needed in the classroom on a daily basis to assist our students to improve the academic scores and ratings for all those schools that are falling below the state guidelines.
Madam Vice President? Madam President?
Yes, Reverend Harris.
Okay, so, I know there's some fundings that's, like with grant writing and things that may be available for that specific thing. I think we just have to, maybe get with our grant writing, something.
Well, and I would like to
address it.
to highlight a couple notes real quick. Number one, I think you had mentioned CIR schools, Ms. McGaskey.
Yes.
There is after-school tutoring at every school, although I know you're talking about tutors, but there is after-school tutoring at every school that's being funded by the district. The only exceptions to that for CIR schools so far, and that will be remedied in the fall, would be LP Vaughn and NJH, and that's simply because the type of funding we have to use for this, we have to have certified teachers, and we simply, when we put out the word on that, we didn't have enough influx of certified teachers. I think it's also important to note that the instructional specialists, they started this school year. We are yet to know thy impact, so to speak. We will not know their impact until October on this educational year. So when we talk about what impact they are or are not having, we really can't speak to that until the data comes out next year. And I think anything else about that would be somewhat anecdotal at this point. And I think that discussion with Mr. Legrand and Ms. Noel of where schools are and where they're improving will be very enlightening to all the board members to show just how well schools are doing. Because to Ms. McGaskey's point, right now we're going off data from last year, and you're correct, those schools, but that was before any instructional specialists, any sort of win period we've done, any sort of cluster period. And so, we would like to highlight that before we would make any major changes in that. And then I don't want to speak for Mr. Wascom, but I know there's always ways to find alternative funding, but in terms of general fund and adding positions to that, because if you recall, some of those positions that were added last month were specifically done in a way to reduce the cost of the general fund and move it to federal. I think we have a new federal programs supervisor, and we have a business director who just put a large initiative in terms of financial constraints, and I think we just need to be very careful as a board putting any more strain on that, because we want to see how that works out in this first fiscal year. We've run all the different things, but you don't want to put more strain on it in that first year. So it's not that I'm against it at all, Ms. McGaskey. I'm not, because we've put our money where our mouth is in terms of tutoring after school, and we have that going on at 4 of 6 of our CR schools, soon to be 6 of 6. We can always do more. I just want to be mindful of the financial impact. And Lee, I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but that would be my only concern about it. And then also waiting to see what the educational impact has been from our shift in going towards the instructional specialist this year, because we just don't have any data except for interim data to say where our students are at right now. But this month is all about testing, and so we're soon to find out.
Additional questions?
I just want to say in reference to some of the comments that he just made, and I'm glad to hear that we have the tutoring available after school. And I know sometimes that can be, even though it should be a priority for parents that have students that are failing, sometimes that can be very difficult. We've had tutors working in the classroom with teachers before on a previous administration, and it made a positive impact as far as improving the the academic scores for some of the schools. And I do understand that we have to look at the impact that it could have on our financial resources, but this is a number one priority when we're talking about academics, failing schools and children falling through the cracks. I keep hearing that. And so I heard you say about data, and I know that we look at data, we make decisions based on data. But when I'm talking to teachers and they're saying to me, and I asked for the listing of all the schools to see what actually their rating was, and I'll try to have that Thursday. But my thing, okay, the response that I got from teachers that I spoke to in regards to the instructional specialists is that, yeah, they assist them in that they're there to give them information and try to tell them how they should improve, the steps that they need to take to improve, but you don't have a sufficient number of them to cover all the classrooms where there's a person needed at least half a day or on a daily basis to assist these teachers to help improve these scores academically. And that's the reality of it. So though they play a major role, though they're gonna help make a difference, but you still need to have hands-on with these students that are having difficulties. And that's what I'm asking for, is that we give some consideration and we look for some funding for those classrooms, may not be every classroom, but for those teachers that need the assistance in their classroom, in these failing schools. That's it. That's what I'm asking for.
Ms. Palmer?
I agree that the tutoring is good, but I think there should be like a strategic plan put in place for those lower grades, starting in pre-K, because that's where the problem begins. That's where the problem is. They're going to first grade, second grade, and they can't read. They need that help right there. So when they get in those latter grades, they can pass those state tests and, write all those essays and all that good stuff. So it should be a strategic plan. Just like y'all came up with those positions, come up with a position or several positions to put people in those lower grades, starting in pre-K, to help those children. Because if not, it's not going to get better. It's not. They're going to continue. It's a cycle. They're not getting the phonics. They don't know how to read, so they can't perform.
And I don't disagree with the importance of early childhood at all. But I think this is where that conversation with the curriculum staff will be very eye-opening, because some of these things that y'all are specifically addressing, some of these things are already occurring. And I think that meeting, and I'm glad Reverend Harris brought it up, because I think it's very important for y'all to hear and see those things going on.
Yeah, because some of the things that you mentioned, and I know there are programs in high school, with the those classes where they're taking the dual enrollment is available. The other program for high school students, there's certain programs that are available to help them excel. But as she said, they need it starting in pre-K and kindergarten, because I've spoken with people that have worked with kids in the lower grades, and they get them in the third and fourth grade. These kids can't read, and they don't understand. They can't write. Fourth grade, you're supposed to be writing paragraphs. But if you can't read and you don't understand and comprehend what you're reading, then we're failing them.
Ms. Palmer.
And also, and with all due respect, Dr. Eloy, I hear you talk about, how we are modeling other parishes, but why can't we be a parish that comes up with a plan and make it successful that other people follow us?
Wait about another year and you see that happen.
We don't have a year. We don't have a year.
No, I
Kids
think.
are failing now. We
Yeah,
can't
no.
wait a year.
No, I think I think anytime you look at whether it's other parishes or the literature or research, you're just looking for best practice, and so that's what we try to do. And maybe I've mentioned other parishes too much, because that is the goal, Ms. Palmer, is to be leading the way, and I think we're starting to see that. But we are. It's not always about proficiency. Sometimes it's about growth. And right now I think we're in the growing phase, and we hope to be at proficiency soon. But no, I think your point is well made. I think we don't always have to follow, but we should do best practices. But I think there will be a time, and I think that time is quickly coming, where we will lead. So, but I don't disagree with you.
Reverend Harris.
Mr. LeGrone, you said we give us another year, and I understand.
Well, what I meant, I'm interrupting,
Okay.
sorry.
What I would say is that we're 2 years with COVID. This has put us 2 years. I don't care where you're at in this country. And so we have to do something different. We can't do the same thing. I'm talking about from the models of our churches to the model of our school systems. If we continue to do the same thing, it becomes
results.
insane. So we have to do something different. And that's one of the reasons I asked Dr. Eloy because I don't know what you all are doing. I just hear what folks are saying. And sometimes folks don't want to change. When you start talking about change, we have never done it this way before. That is a recipe for disaster. We've never done it this way before. Well, that may be the reason we constantly getting the same results too. So, the thing of it is if we are doing something different, which obviously we must be, but I wanna hear from you all to see what it is you're doing different. Because I travel this country and I see different models of education, and it's looking way different than what I see when I was growing up. And it has to change, especially we're 2 years behind. These kids are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorders and all kind of other things. Teachers are suffering from burnout and all kind of things. So, I just want to know where we're at before I start complaining. I'm not going to complain. I just want to know where we're at. Now, when I find out where we're at, I still won't complain. I'll bless the Lord at all times. His praises shall continue.
Well, if I may, that is our intent, to meet with you, is to teach you and show you. We do have a very strategic plan that goes from pre-K all the way through high school. And it does measure growth and results and student learning and teacher effectiveness and school effectiveness. And we're tracking that closely. report, as I said last time we met, not waiting till the end of the year, but in a timely way throughout the year. And I also would like to say that research on learning, teaching and learning, states that one of the most effective measures that have impact on students' learning is high quality instruction from the teacher. And so,
Mr. LeGrand, do you mind stepping to the podium so people on TV can hear you?
So I was stating that research, educational research that's accepted and widely recognized will tell us that one of the most effective measures that any school system can take and focus on and grow and improve is instructional effectiveness. When a child has an effective teacher, they learn and they grow and they progress. And so we are looking at growing our staff, growing our teachers, always looking at instruction, always looking at the effectiveness, always looking at, when we say data, we don't mean just a bunch of numbers, we mean our students learning. And where are they not within a school, within a class, within subgroups, and when they're not, our strategic plan addresses those things for improvement. Now, Ms. McGaskey, I would not disagree with you that the more manpower we have and the more help in those classrooms, that's a great thing, if it's possible. And Reverend Harris, I would agree with you too. There are a lot of avenues out there that we could look at in terms of grants and ways to bring this. So that is not a negative to what our strategic plan is. So we would be open to any addition like that. But we do have a plan, and we believe it's already taken effect, and we want to show you this when we meet with you. We want to show you growth that's already occurring, and we can see this.
Thank you. All right. Item 9E, resolution, state pay raise. Is this going to be Dr. Eloy or Mr. Wascom?
It's actually myself, but we have a representative here. There's a resolution that's been prepared that many districts, I'll tell you what, I'll just hand it over to someone who can speak about it a lot better than I.
Well, actually, I'm the backup. The president of the Natchitoches Federation of Teachers, Carlotta Jones, they had math night tonight at school, you know, parents and all getting together. So I know she's going to want to thank you for your position. I'm making a little assumption ahead about your position on this, but you know that since before the legislature met, started in their meetings, they were starting to talk about a teacher pay raise, and some people forget to say the other part about staff or support employees. They need these people. They help tutor, you know, particularly the SPED paras and all that. So we need, and I loved what you said about one of the best things is a highly effective teacher. I was a teacher for many years. I retired. And so we don't want to be just getting people who are going into education because they got a general, and I'm not going to say anything to knock anybody's degree, but they didn't think about teaching. It wasn't something that they felt they were born to do, perhaps, but it's something that they can get paid to do. And that's fine because we need warm bodies, but we really need true professional educators, and the state has got to step up. Teachers got to raise the, right when the new governor came in, you know, and then no more, not funded anymore. And so Louisiana Federation, who I represent, is asking for a $2,500 teacher pay raise this year, and then another $2,500 next year. That's not what the governor and the support employees or half that. Of course, you know, I would like everybody to get the same, but, you know, that's not gonna work. Anyway, I just hope you've got your copy of your resolution. They do have it. Good. And do you have any questions about it? It doesn't say an amount on here because we're supporting the governor, what he comes up with, but we're looking for more money.
Would you mind sharing your name with us?
Oh, that would be so good. I'm sorry. And I was on Caddo School Board for 12 years, and I know how you're supposed to do it, but I was over there, not over here. Charlotte Crawley, yes, I'm with Louisiana Federation of Teachers.
Thank you.
And that's great. Any questions?
Mr. Benefield?
I'm impressed that it's short and sweet. Give us a raise.
That's it. Thank you, that's right. All right. I hope y'all approve it. Thank you. Oh, absolutely, MFP money. And so therefore, it will be no cost to you guys, because what they do is, you know, they say a raise of this much, and then they have to match that money with benefits. And I have to always remind employees, teachers of that it's not just what you're getting in your pocket, it's what's sent to the retirement and all those other matching things they have to do.
Thank you. All right. Any questions? That concludes the executive report.
Okay. If there's no other business to come before the board, we are adjourned for the night. And see everyone Thursday.